Welcome to Lexon Photography and welcome to a camera lens comparison. I have two lenses here with me, both on the same camera, the Canon 6D Mark II. It's a Sigma 35 1.4 art lens and the Canon 50mm f1.2 L prime lens. And I thought, let's take a look at two lenses that are very common and very popular or focal length, which is the 35mm lens and the 50. When we take a look at photography history, analog photography, looking at images taken with a Leica camera, there's always been these two focal length, 35 and 50, and there's always been a debate which one is better. My question in this video is not to answer the question which one is better in general, just give you my experience with both lenses now after a couple of years. And I thought to test these lenses to show you how these lenses compare to each other, wouldn't it make sense to take both cameras next to each other and then use both lenses and photograph the same thing so you can see how does it look that's seen with a 35mm lens, open aperture f1.4, how does it look with the 50mm lens, open aperture f1.2. So I shot open aperture most of the time. I photographed myself. I use these remote controls. I put one on the camera, another one in my hand. When I pull the trigger, the camera takes a picture, and this way all images that you see here were created. So before I go into the photo shoots, because I also filmed it, so you can see exactly where did I stand, how far away was the camera, where does the light come from. You see a little bit more than just with the image, you see a little bit more of the surrounding. Before we go into the photo shoot, let me quickly show you some images that I took that day of myself so you get an idea of both lenses. So here are the images of the 35mm 1.4 lens, mostly used at f1.4. And let's take a look at the same situations, the same moments, but now photographed with the 50mm, mostly used at f1.2. So now you get an idea of the images that we took, and you've seen the edited images. This video, this is what we're going to do. I will talk about my experience with both lenses over a couple of years and what I use it for and what they are great for and in which area one or the other is better. And then the images that you will see, and you will see the video and then you see the images. The images are all edited in one certain look. I edited both files from both cameras the same way, so they should look kind of the same from the look. Also use the same camera, the 6D Mark II. And then after the videos and after me talking at the end of this, we go into the computer and I show you the unedited JPEGs from both cameras. We go through them all so you can see how do these images look unedited from both cameras, photographed in kind of the same settings. And then we go into Lightroom and I show you how I edited these images in a couple of seconds. So you really see the whole process. You see me taking these images, you see the camera settings when we go into the computer watching at the unedited files, and you also see how I edit this. This is very transparent, so you can see it doesn't really take much to get an image like this. Okay, so me personally, I've loved the 50mm focal length. That's the one that I started with, and I think there lies the secret. There are people who say I love 50, there are people who say I love 35, and it's probably that is the focal length that they have used most often. In my experience, the lens that works best for me is the lens that I know the most. It's the lens that I've used the most. For me, it's the 50. It always comes first, 35 comes second. I know people who say vice versa. I know people who don't like 50 at all. They go with 35 and 85, totally fine. In my experience, the one you have is the right one. For me, it was always the 50. I got the 35 because the Sigma Art lens was so hyped and it was so incredible in its quality that I got this probably 5 years ago or so. And now, depending on what you want to photograph, I photograph people. Everything I do is photographing people. That's what I do as a job, but also as a hobby. That's what I love. For photographing people in general, I've always loved the 50mm because I can get a blurry background. And when you take a look at these images, there's always the person in the center. And there's always differentiation to the background and isolation. The person, in this case it's me, I'm standing there and I'm not integrated into the background. The background is very far away and you don't really see that much of the background. You rather see more of the color and the shape and the form of the background more than what is actually there. You can't really name the stuff in the background. It doesn't occur to you right away. It makes a dreamy background. But it's also harder to get a full body portrait. Now, as I was photographing myself with both cameras on 2 tripods and was also filming with another camera with another tripod and was also having stuff with me like my jacket and some hats and sunglasses. With all this around me myself, I didn't want to have too much distance between me and the camera. So when I looked through the images, I actually got 0 image with this one with the 50, where I am from top to bottom with from my hair to my feet. So I didn't have that distance. I did have images with a 35 from top to bottom, and the 35 integrates the background more. I think that's one of the differences that I found out pretty quickly, that the 35, it gives you a blurry background when you get relatively close, but when you go a little bit away from your subject, even at f1.4, the separation from the background no longer is that strong. You pretty quickly can see much of the background. Where are we? Who's walking there? What's on the balcony over there? You can see pretty much not just the color and the form, but you see much more detail with the 35, which makes sense because it's wider. So the wider the lens, the more difficult it is to get a blurry background when you go further away. So the 50mm is easier to use if you want that isolation from the background and that blurry background and you want to hide a little bit where we are. The 35 is better when you want to integrate the background and you want to show where we are. You know, we're at a beautiful place, there's a nice scenery, nice buildings around us, there's water, and let's integrate that into the image. Let's not just show the person, let's also show where is he, how's the weather, what's in the background, what's next to him. Let's put more context around it, let's tell a story than just an emotion. The 50 is great to capture emotions, faces. I very often use this to get faces and half-body portraits, like from here to here. Like you see now in this video. I'm filming now with the EOS RP and the 20mm lens. So it's a 20mm wide angle. But the 50 is great for face until here, body and half body and upper body portraits. The 35, it's easier to integrate all of the body. You can also get images in the horizontal form from top to bottom without getting too far away. You still get a blurry background, but it's not that strong. I love blurry backgrounds, I love the bokeh and isolation, so I'm always going for that. So if I go out on the streets taking pictures on a wedding, I always prefer the 50 instead of the 35, but I always focus on the emotion, the face, the intimacy, and I get that easier with the 50. You get that also with the 35 when you get closer, but you also get a little bit of distraction in the image, and it disforms a little bit the face when you get very close and the face is on the edge of the image. So it's easier to use the 50, but the 35 is easier to integrate the background and to get a little bit more context in it and not just emotion. Now, there is something else that comes with the lens, and that's the feeling of using it. I never really liked using the 35mm because I found it very heavy and front heavy, and it's not so nice to hold, whereas the 50, it's also heavy. There's not that much difference, but it's not so long, and so it's not so front heavy. Now when I looked at the images, the 35mm images look really nice, and they look much nicer than it felt using this lens. So there is a quality to using camera gear. There is a quality to holding a camera and what it does with you. Do you like to hold it? Do you like to use it? I always like shooting primes because they are small and relatively light, open aperture, so I don't like to use zooms, although zooms have a versatility that give you a lot of options with one lens, where with the prime lenses you have to always have different lenses and change lenses or have two cameras with you. So there is ups and downs with nearly everything. But I want to make this video not to be a technical comparison. I rather more want it to be an image-based comparison. I want you to see the images from both lenses. Both are legendary lenses, the 51.2 with autofocus. There are not many camera manufacturers who have done this 50mm with autofocus at f1.2. 35 1.4 Sigma Art, incredible price point, the cheapest 35mm 1.4 lens, and probably the best sharpness wise. That's what the internet says. And so we have here two incredible lenses, and I thought let's make a video about both of them in one video so you can see which one do you prefer. The idea of this video is to tell you with these images that both of these lenses are great, and if you look to buy the one or the other, in both ways you will have a great tool at hand. Both ways will give you great images. If you get this one, you don't need this for a certain area, and if you get this one, you don't need this for a certain area. To have both is great, but also 50 and 35mm is not so different. There's not much difference in focal length. Now if I go for a wide angle lens, actually 35 is not wide enough often. I rather go for 24. And if I want to photograph people and portraits, I find 35 too wide. So my personal idea or opinion is to go with the 50mm than to go with the 35. That's my personal taste, and also I have a longer history with shooting with 50mm lenses than with 35. So that's my personal taste. You can make up your own mind with these images. I wanted to give you a comparison where both cameras were the same, the 60 Mark II with the flip out screen, where both cameras had the same settings. I photographed everything manually. I had the same white balance, I had the same aperture, not the same aperture, but I shot both wide open, f1.4, 1.2, the same ISO, shutter speed changed a little bit because f1.2 is brighter than f1.4, but everything else was about the same. White balance, picture style. And so we will take a look at the images unedited now on the computer, and also how the editing process takes place. And I will show you also at the end of this some videos photographed with the 35mm where I photograph other people, and also with the 50mm where I photograph other people, mostly on the streets anywhere in Europe. I talk to them, ask them, hello, I'm a photographer, I do these kind of street portrait shootings, takes about 3 minutes. Do you like this? Then let's go. And this is how these photo shootings come to life. Thank you very much.
We're in photo mechanics, and here we can take a look at the images unedited straight from the camera. All the images you see are JPEG files, and we can take a look at these files in a bigger view like here. And here you see the camera settings. I mostly shot at f1.4 Or when the sun was too strong, I closed the aperture a little bit here to f1.6, but most of the images you will see are shot at f1.4. And this is what comes out of the camera. It's the Canon 60 Mark II. These are all the unedited files, and I thought it might be interesting to some of you to see these images straight from the camera. These are the JPEG files, and I set up the camera all manually, so every single setting is set up manually, so I can do this with both cameras with the same settings. And I set up the camera, ISO 50, aperture 1.4, 1/800th of a second, 35mm. We're now looking at the 35mm files. And I'm pretty happy with the performance of the camera. I mean, photographing at f1.4, having the face in focus, when you are all alone and you take pictures of yourself, that is not easy to do in history. If you, any moment of the last 20 years, and you say you take pictures of yourself at f1.4 with any lens, is a challenge. And now technology is at a point where it's so easy to take images of yourself in great quality. You can take pictures that look like they were taken of an external photographer. I mean, when I look at the whole session here that I got of myself, and I select maybe the 10 best images, and I said a photographer took these images of me, and I paid X amount of money, most people would believe me. Yeah, he paid someone to take these images of him. But when I actually say I took these images myself, that is something that is not common within the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Now it is possible, and I believe that this is going to show up much more in the photography industry once the people know how to do this. And maybe I can inspire you to approach new areas of photography that you create within you. I very much believe in the inside-out approach, that I look inside what I love to do and then create that in the outside environment. And many things, first an idea. So the idea was, can I take pictures of myself with 3 cameras at the same time? And then I did that. And so I did a variety of shootings now where I used 2 cameras at the same time. To give you kind of a comparison between 2 lenses, but mostly for me to have fun taking pictures. Now is the Corona crisis, so the best person I can photograph to be safe and to save everyone else, the best person I can photograph is photograph myself. This is the safest way. And so this is a way to do it, and you can get, I think, pretty great results with it. I have never gotten many images of myself. I photograph for 7 years now, nearly every day, 1,700,000 images or so. And I rarely got an image of myself, and now it's possible to get images like this pretty easily. All you need is a tripod, a camera, and a remote control. I have something in my hand here where I push the button and the camera takes a picture in all of these images. So there's just me, it's only me taking these pictures, and I think it's a phenomenal idea that at open aperture with any lens now you can do this wherever you are. And if you like to do Instagram and you want to show images on Instagram of yourself, I think this is the way to go to get professional images super quickly, easily of yourself without somebody else having to come and photograph you. So you don't have to pay anybody. Once you know how to do this, you can apply this at any place, at any weather, at any day, at any time, with any lens on your camera that has autofocus. And I've tried this now with super wide angle lenses, with telephoto lenses, and all the lenses that I've tried gave me some great images that I didn't expect to get out of this. And the same happens on this day, some days ago. So I went out just because I love photography. I have no one to photograph. So I just take myself and an hour and go out and dare to go into the unknown. And this is what comes out of it, if you dare to go into it and try. So now we take a look at the images taken with the 50mm f1.2, mostly shot at f1.2. You've seen just a moment ago the images from the 35mm Sigma art lens shot at wide open aperture, and now we have the Canon 50mm. I use ISO 50 all the time, maximum shutter speed 1/4000th of this camera, and so I use the aperture of f1.6, although most of the images you will see now are shot at f1.2.
Just here the sun was so bright that I had to close the aperture a little bit. The ISO is the lowest ISO, the shutter speed is the fastest shutter speed, and so I had to close the aperture a little bit. And these are the unedited JPEG files straight from the camera. And you see the autofocus performance of the Canon 60 Mark II. The Canon 60 Mark II is a camera that people laughed at because it was slow, for many other reasons like dynamic range. And I find it to be one of the most incredible full-frame cameras. For one reason, it has the flip-out screen, so I can see myself when I'm standing in front of the camera, which allows me actually to take images like this. So I see, am I in the frame or not? Is my face in the screen or not? Autofocus-wise, at f1.2, I can take a picture of myself shooting into the sun without any lens hood on it and get pretty reliable results, much better results than I would get if I photographed manually or used autofocus with the focus points, which is the older systems that older cameras used. And the modern cameras have a kind of technology most of the time where autofocus is taken care of and face detection is well implemented on most modern cameras. So I wanted to show you the images unedited so you get an idea of how the images look unedited. I also believe there are people who don't like my editing style, so I also want to show you the images unedited so you get an idea of what the images look like without any touching them. And this is what it looks like. You see I've shot at f1.4 most of the time. I stayed at ISO 50 all the time and then just adjusted the shutter speed. And I always play with it. I think photography is a playground. And sometimes I put the camera very low, so the tripod is very low and the camera looks up. Or sometimes I put the camera up and then I knee down and the camera looks down on me. Like here for example, the camera looks up to me. I'm much higher than the camera. On these situations, like here, I am actually kneeing down and the camera is up looking down to me. And you get a variety of different looks depending on which angle the camera stands and also how close you are to the camera or how far away you are to the camera. Also makes a difference when you have direct sunlight entering the scene or you get in front of you get the sunlight a little bit out of the image. So let me just go through these images in this view so you get a better idea of the whole photo shoot experience here. Now when you look at these images and compare them to the 35mm, I think the colors look pretty much the same. And actually, as these all were the same situations, I photographed the same second with both lenses. You see that the images or the situation in the images are the same, but the angle or the field of view is different. You have only very few images where you see my whole body. I think there is no image where you really see my shoes when I'm standing, which is nice with the 35 and which doesn't work with the 50, but I like the 50 more because of the compression. I get more focus on the face, I get more blurry background, and image quality wise I think both cameras are great. I'm not a sharpness guy. I don't care so much about sharpness. What's important to me is autofocus, that the face is in focus at f1.2 even with sunglasses on, and that is capable that is possible with the 60 Mark II and any autofocus lens. And yeah, now let's go into Lightroom and let's take a look at how the images look like after I edited them.
So now we're into Lightroom and here I have the edited images that I took with both cameras, with the Sigma 35 and Canon 50mm lenses. And I thought let's just go through these images like this, and I have used one preset to edit these files, and I'm going to show you now how I do it or how I did it, and also show you how these images look like in other editing processes, so with other looks. So let's just take one image like this one here. Here you see the camera setting, f1.2, ISO 50, 1/400th of a second. Can zoom in a little bit. Autofocus looks good at f1.2. So here I have my presets, and if I now undo everything here, let me undo everything and let me copy this to all the next images. Copy, So all the imaging editing will be undone. So any image now looks unedited. This is the unedited look. And I think the look is already nice. So this is a really natural look. And I don't have to edit this. This is what I believe. Let's just try what we can do. We can get a black and white look. We can black and white with a little bit more dirt, a little bit more dirty. So we have a variety of black and white looks. And when we click on it, the image is kind of finished. It's done. Then we can click synchronize, and all these images down here will now have the same look applied to them. And then I can save these images and they are already done. This is how I edit many images. Maybe I straighten the horizon like this, so the lines are straight, but I don't do much else to the editing process. Now let's choose another look. So when we hover over these looks, you see what it does to the image. Let's choose maybe Coloria. Let's look at before and after. Left is before, right is after. Let me synchronize again, everything, check. And down here, you now see that all the images will change their look to the new edit. And you see it's very consistent. Any of these images look now nice, and I don't have to go in and edit anything. They all have the same look. I can choose another look. Maybe let's go to haze. And I click synchronize, everything. And how I edit these images, all of these images, we have now 1100 images here. I choose one preset and put it onto all images and I click synchronize. And then I just go through and just adjust the lines, if they are straight or not. And maybe just make something right in the face if there is something bad in the face, or somebody has a wound or something. I just delete that. If there's something in the face or on your arm that you usually don't have, like a scar that just happened, then I do this away. But most of the time, this is now the edit, synchronize it, and then I don't have to do much else. And you see now it works with both. It's 50mm and 35mm, so it works with both cameras, with both files. Let's choose another example. Let's just take a look. I would just choose any other situation, maybe here like this. So I undo it, and I copy this undoing to the next or to the previous 10 images. So this is now the 50mm f1.2 ISO 50, 1/400th of a second. And again, let's choose a look. Let's choose something else. Maybe we choose Contra by Duxon, make it a little bit brighter, synchronize. And now all these images here will have that black and white look. And I don't have to do much else. You see, it works pretty simple. It's super fast. Any image you see on this channel is edited this way. And I can edit hundreds of images super quickly. Let's choose another look. Maybe we go with Darko 1 or with Contrasto. Synchronize again. If you want all these looks, you can get them. These are all the looks that I have in my preset pack. These are the looks that I use for any editing. And when I photograph people on the streets, I spend the day outside, photograph people, come home, put them into Lightroom, and then choose one look and copy the look to all images, synchronize it, and then that's it. Let me choose another look like this, maybe a little bit less contrast, maybe a little bit warmer, synchronize. You see again the quality here, f1.2. The image looks a little bit dirty because we have some grain in it. And this is now the look that we got with the Washington Gone preset. And it works for any situation, whether it's in sunlight or no sunlight, whatever the situation is, I can apply these looks. Let's do it again. Let's choose these images, undo everything. Again, undo everything. Synchronize. So these are now the images unedited. And I can now click on any preset here. Let me just, maybe the sepia look. Make it a little bit warmer, a little bit brighter. Maybe just like this, copy it. And now all the files here should have the same look now, the same style. And I can do it again with another look. Let's just choose Gringo, synchronize again, and then all the files here will have the same look. And this is how I edit. And if you don't like the editing style that I used, you can choose another one. And I hope I can help you with that. I hope that editing is no longer a secret. I hope you can get it done fast so you can shoot more. And I edit everything pretty quickly. I never spent a minute on an image. I always spend just a couple of minutes on a whole session, kind of. And I do it with all these presets here. And you can do this too.
Oh ja, es muy guay. Y puedes poner tus manos aquí.
Como mola el corsé. No, mola.
Puedes mirar. Una, por ejemplo, aquí. Ja.
Qué guay.
Muy bonito. Y puedes mirar por derecho.
El corte de mangas.
Okay. Muy bien. Más cerca. Ya, sí, muy guay. Y voy a ver, muy guay, muy bonito. Por ejemplo, como así.
Está chula.
Y más cerca. Oh, ya. Muy guay. Perfecto. Ah, ya. Muy bonito. Y si tú quieres, puedes también con tu mano así.
¿Tocarle?
Ya. Ya, muy guay. Muy bonito. Y yo voy desde aquí también. Un momento. Muy guay. Y sí, muy cerca. Ya. Muchas emociones. Muy guay. Y una vez más cerca aquí. Perfecto. Y una vez con gafas. Y si tú quieres, puedes poner eso.
A mí no me queda muy bien, pero bueno.
Creo que es. Vamos a ver. O tú aquí y tú detrás. Voy a cambiar eso un poco así. Así. Oh ya, muy guay.
¿Y ahora cómo?
O tú, voy a ver. Con eso un poco más aquí. Oh ya, y con tu mano así. Oh ya, muy bonito. Voy a ver. Es como. Y hago unas más de un poco más aquí. Perfecto. Y una vez tú aquí.
¿Sí?
Y tú aquí. Oh ya.
¿Así?
Ya, muy guay. Perfecto. Voy a ver. ¿Y podéis mirar en esa dirección? Muy bonito. Perfecto. Muy guay. Ok, creo que está bien. Vamos a ver. It's nice when you have your hands near your face.
Like that?
Yeah, but we play a little. Goody goody. I think it's, I can show you some pictures.
Yes.
Let me just see.
Oh, that's so cool! Oh, that's the first time I see me like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like a superstar.
Yeah, you look pretty nice.
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh, I like it. Oh yeah, I can get this photo or I need to pay.
No, I sent you all three.
Oh, okay. That's so cool. That's so cool. I just love it. Okay. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh.
Maybe you can just hold it like this. It's heavy.
Okay.
And I just want to. I just want to see if I can, or just so I just want to film this.
Like that?
If we can, let us see. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, superstar.
I think there's.
Rapidillo, ¿va?
Yeah, sí, sí. Solo dos minutos. Muy guay. Voy aquí. Y puedes mirar así. Y vamos un poco aquí. Sí, solo aquí. Con eso. Sí, tú aquí.
¿Aquí?
Ya, ya. Muy guay. Voy.
¿Qué hago?
Esta es muy guapa. Y puedes mirar a mí. Muy guay. Es como. Es muy guay.
Me va bien así, no voy a hablar.
O tú puedes hacer una vuelta.
Vuelta.
Ya.
Por el pelo.
Ya.
A ver si queda bien.
Vamos a. Muy guay. Y otra vez.
Otra.
Perfecto. ¿Y tú tienes gafas?
No.
¿Quieres eso?
Vale.
Solo para. Voy a ver. Muy guay. Muy bonito. Y puedes mirar a mí. Muy guay. Y un poco en esa dirección. Voy un poco más lejos. Muy guay. Ok, perfecto. Vamos a ver a los... yo voy a ver. ¿Y tú tienes una entrevista o tú...?
No, yo estoy esperándolo.
Ah, ok. Ah, ok.
No, pasamos el día aquí
Ah,
entero.
ya. Yo hago unas fotos así, yo voy a ver. Ya, muy guay. Voy un poco más lejos. Ah, ya. Y, por ejemplo, una vez aquí, así,
¿Aquí?
así, tú aquí.
Sí.
Vamos a ver. Ya, muy guay. Muy bonito con el mar detrás y Málaga. Yo voy un poco más lejos. Y por ejemplo, una vez tú siéntate aquí y con esa cámara yo hago un vídeo y aquí yo hago las fotos.
Vale.
Vamos a ver. Ya, muy guay. Yo voy un poco. Bam. Y puedes mirar un poco en esa dirección. Muy guay. Y a mí. Perfecto. Sí. Y una vez, por ejemplo, con ese arte, por ejemplo, tú aquí.
Aquí mismo.
O tú puedes andar a mí y puedes andar tranquilo. Muy guay. Perfecto. Y otra vez más. Y voy un poco más cerca. ¿Sí? Y por ejemplo, una vez vamos a ver, aquí, voy a presentarte las fotos en un momento. Por ejemplo, tú así, y yo hago una foto de
Vale. Así.
sí, tú así y yo aquí. Mi español no es perfecto.
No te preocupes.
Ya, muy guay. Yo voy un poco más así. Y está muy bien, yo voy también de este aquí. Y también voy de aquí. Vamos a ver, voy un poco más cerca. Podemos ver las fotos. Yo voy a ver si yo puedo también. Por ejemplo. Und hiermit filme ich das.
Müssen wir da reingucken?
Ihr könnt ruhig einmal zu mir schauen. Ich gucke einmal von der Einstellung her. Hoppa. Einmal Looky. Und schaut ruhig einmal beide zu mir. Und du kannst auch deinen Arm um sie legen.
Das ist aber zu intim.
Sehr schön. Einmal Looky. Ich zeige euch mal, wie das ausschaut. Das einmal eben hier. Und stellt euch einfach zusammen.
Jetzt aber schnell.
Ja, einmal Rucki Zucki. Ich schau einmal. Ja, sehr schön so. Schokoladenseite. Und vielleicht, ja, sehr schön. Vielleicht sonst, sehr schön so. Wenn du dich nochmal hinter sie stellst und sie einfach um... Ja, das ist sehr schön. So. Sehr schön. Ich komme noch mal ein bisschen näher, einfach so. Ah ja. Einmal Looky. Sehr schön. Und vielleicht einmal, vielleicht hier. Hopp, 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 hopp. Mal schauen. Vielleicht, wenn ihr euch hier einfach...
Sind Sie oft in Amsterdam?
Nee,
Ne?
ich bin nur auch heute nur einen Tag. Einmal so. Sehr schön. Wenn ihr wollt, ihr könnt euch auch ein bisschen umarmen, wenn ihr möchtet. Ah ja, sehr schön. Sehr schön. Ah ja, sehr süß. Und spricht sie Englisch? Oder?
Ja, sie spricht Englisch.
So you understand me in English?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll take a picture of you, just like this. And one of you. And maybe one of each of you. Maybe when you can you do something like this?
Yes.
And I take a picture from this side. Yeah, that looks. Yeah, it's nice. We just take a look. And also look to your friend. And look to me. Oder schau ruhig zu mir. Ja, sehr schön. Und auch einmal one time with you. Just some pictures of you. Just like this. Yeah, it looks really nice. Okay. Perfect. If you like, I always have some. We can take a look at. Ja, just genau, einfach so. Genau, sehr schön. Und ich komme noch mal ein bisschen näher. Schau noch mal deine Kollegin an. Und noch einmal so ein bisschen zum Eiskaffee. Okay. Und vielleicht einmal, wenn du dich einfach hier so gegenlehnst.
Ja.
Genau. Ah ja, ist schön. So. Und schau ein bisschen so in die Richtung, einfach so in die Ferne blicken. So, und noch einmal von hier und dann ist Goodie Goodie. Und schau noch mal zu mir. Okay, perfekt. Dreh dich ruhig mit mir zu mir um. Ah ja. Hier. Vielleicht sogar einmal. Komm mal mit, wir gehen einfach mal hier. Ja, genau. Das ist schön so. Und schau noch mal zu deiner Freundin. Ich kann auch ein paar von dir machen. Ist gut. Ich halte das einmal so. Schaut schön aus. Genau, du kannst bleib einfach stehen. Einmal. Noch ein bisschen hier rüber, dann haben wir noch einen offeneren. Genau so. Macht nichts, ist schön so. Kann ruhig ein bisschen windig sein. Schaut sehr schön aus. Und schau auch noch mal deine Freundin an. Sehr schön. Ich gehe noch mal einen Tick zurück. Ja. Sehr schön. Genau, du kannst einfach so auf mich zukommen. Sehr schön. Perfekt. Und einfach euch beide zusammen. Nur für euch. Dann könnt ihr das so als Erinnerung. Genau, schön eng zusammen. So. Sehr schön. Das ist alles gut, macht nichts. So, und ich komme auch einmal von der anderen Seite. Bleibt einfach so und dreht euch zu mir um. Ja. Okay. Perfekto. So. Und hiermit mache ich die Bilder. Soll ich sonst die Douglas-Tasche...
Ja, das vielleicht nicht.
Sonst gib mir die ruhig einmal... Oder
Im Hintergrund.
so.
Danke.
Ich mache das mal einmal so. Ja. Das passt. Mal schauen. So. Ja, ich halte das einfach. Ja, schaut sehr schön aus so. Einmal Looky. Ich gehe noch mal einen Schritt zurück. Einfach so. Ah ja, sehr schön. Und vielleicht stell dich noch einmal hinter sie und umarm sie einfach so. Ja, genau. Sehr schön. Und so, dass ihr schön eng zusammen seid. Einmal schauen. Sehr schön. Und sonst gib ihr ruhig noch ein Küsschen einfach so auf die Wange. Sehr schön. Und vielleicht einmal, wenn du dich sonst einmal einfach hier so gegenlehnst, so, und du lehnst dich an ihn ran. Ja, stimmt, ja, so ist auch sehr schön. So. Und sonst lehn dich mal, dass ihr so Brust an Brust seid. Du kannst ruhig so, ja genau, ja, sehr schön. Sehr schön so. Einmal Looky und schaut noch mal zueinander. Und vielleicht eins noch einmal hier und dann ist schon Goodie. Ja, Lübeck war das, ne?
Genau.
Ja, ist ja lustig, dass man sich so wieder... Ich gehe noch mal einen Schritt zurück. Einfach so. Und noch einmal von hier. Sehr schön. Ich mache einfach mal einzeln. Einmal von hier. Und einmal so. Wir können uns mal die Bilder anschauen. Du kannst dich noch einmal einfach hier gegenlehnen. Ja, genau. Ich schaue mal so ein bisschen in die Ferne, so ein bisschen abseits der Kamera. Das ist auch mal ganz schön. Ich kann dir mal zeigen, zum Gucken. Einmal von hier und schau nochmal so ein bisschen nach da. Und ich komme auch einmal von hier mal zu mir hoch. Und vielleicht, wenn du dich einfach mal hier hinstellst, dann haben wir noch einen anderen Hintergrund. Jetzt nehme ich die einfach ich nehme die einfach in die Hand. So. Ich schau auch noch mal so nach da. Ich sag das, weil das vom Licht ganz schön ist. Gibt ein sehr schönes Licht. Bleib ruhig einfach so. Und vielleicht noch einmal, wenn du dich einfach hier hinstellst, dass ich einfach mal in die Richtung fotografiere. Du kannst auch so eine Hand in die Hüfte nehmen. Ja, genau. Ich schau einmal. Wenn du willst, ich habe immer noch so eine Sonnenbrille dabei. Ich zeige sie dir mal. Du kannst das einmal so halten. Das hat immer noch mal einen anderen. Und hiermit fotografiere ich. Und einmal Looky. Einmal hier die Einstellung. Ja, schaut sehr schön aus. Und ich gehe noch mal einen Schritt zurück. Einmal schauen. So. Sehr schön. Und noch einmal ein bisschen näher dran. Und vielleicht, wenn du dich einfach hier anlehnst, einmal an das Geländer. Ja, sind schöne Herbstfarben, ne? Das Grün von der, das Grün von der Hose.
Ich habe gedacht, Camouflage
Ja, ist schön.
fällt mir nicht so auf.
Kommt ja langsam der Herbst. So. Und vielleicht einmal, wenn du dich hier an den Baum lehnst.
Ja.
Wir können mal schauen. Ja, genau. Ja, sehr schön. Ich schau einmal. Einmal Looky. Bop, bop. Sehr schön. Dann hast du ein paar schöne Erinnerungsmomente
Ja, gut.
von Düsseldorf hier.
Kurz eben nebenbei gemacht.
Und einmal. Ja, sehr schön so. Einmal Looky. Bop, bop. Ich zeige dir gleich mal die Bilder. Ich kann dir mal zeigen, wie das so ausschaut. Ja, schaut sehr schön aus. Einmal Looky. Ja, sehr schön so. Einmal schauen. Ich gehe noch mal einen Schritt zurück, dann habe ich dich auch ganz drauf. Und sehr schön. Also Sie können ruhig vorbeigehen. Danke. Und wenn du willst du dich einmal drehen? So, ich denke, das ist ganz schön mit den Haaren. Oder wenn du so. Sehr schön. Und auch einmal einfach von hier. Oder schau noch mal in die Richtung.
Also rübergehen oder?
Oder einfach, dass du in die Richtung schaust. Stell dir vor, mal schauen. Pop. Stell dir vor, da kommt gerade dein Traummann entgegen. Ich komme noch mal ein Stück näher. Mach das so. Hast du noch eine Sonnenbrille dabei?
Im Auto.
Ach so. Oder einmal hier noch auf der anderen Seite. Sehr schön. Und vielleicht sogar, wenn du dich einmal... ja, genau, das ist auch sehr schön. Komm noch mal einen Tick näher, einfach so. Und einmal noch von hier. Dreh dich ruhig noch mal zu mir. Einmal so gegen das Licht. Die filmt und hiermit mache ich die Fotos.
Und was sollen wir machen?
Und geht ruhig noch enger zusammen. Ihr könnt uns auch die Handys in die Tasche packen, wenn ihr wollt. Dann habt ihr die Hand frei. Ja, schön. Ich halte die einfach so. Sehr schön. Sehr schön. Ich mache einmal Looky. Und sehr schön. Komm noch mal einen Tick näher. Einfach so. Warte, ich mache auch mal eins einfach einzeln. Vielleicht einmal von dir. Einfach so. Sehr schön. Und auch einmal von dir. Ich halte das. Und schau ruhig noch mal zu deiner Freundin rüber. Und vielleicht sogar einmal, wenn du dich einmal hier an die Wand lehnst, einfach, ich zeige euch gleich, einfach hier gegen und dreh dich ruhig, ja genau, ja. Sehr schön. Ich zeige euch mal, wie das ausschaut. Ich halte das mal einfach so.
Das sieht aber schön aus, direkt mit.
Ich mach immer mehrere Bilder und suche dann die schönsten raus. Und man sieht eigentlich wenig von den Leuten. Na, man hat wenig.
Ja. Das ist krass, dass man so wenig sieht.
Ja, man kann sonst auch noch. Wir können auch einmal hier rüber gehen. Ich mach mal einmal hier. Hopp. Ja, hier ist auch schön. Einfach vor Prada hier. Vielleicht sonst. Wir können auch beide. Sonst lehn dich sonst noch mal einfach an die schwarze Wand. Und ich mache noch mal einfach so ein. Einmal hier. Schauen, dass keiner. Wenn du willst, du kannst auch die Hand so in die Hüfte nehmen. Und ich komme noch einmal. Einmal. Und wollt ihr shoppen gehen oder?
Nee, wir wollten was essen.
Achso. Kommt ihr hier aus Düsseldorf? Oh, schön. Ich selber komme aus Bremen, aber ich reise auch oft in andere Städte. Die Karte ist ein bisschen langsam. Das dauert immer ein bisschen.
Das ist schön.
Ja, schaut schön aus, ne? Und eins noch einmal, wenn du dich in meine Richtung drehst, genau, einfach so. Und ich gehe noch mal ein Stück zurück, dass ich dich auch ganz drauf habe. Geh mal ein bisschen einfach so. Wenn du willst, du kannst dich sonst auch noch mal so ein bisschen an die Wand lehnen. Ja, sehr schön. Und einmal, komm noch ein bisschen näher. Einmal so. Und schau noch mal einfach so die Straße runter. Stell dir vor, da kommt gerade dein Traummann auf dich zu. Okay, guti.